guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be doing what I would consider to be a super cool video. So I'm going to tell you everything that I know about the Fudget app. So when you open up the Fudget app, what you get is your list of budgets. So you can either switch between the budgets screen or the settings screen. So let's go ahead and explore the settings screen. So there's not really tons to do within the settings screen, but I'm going to share with you guys what you can do. So you can turn on or off the Dropbox save and restore. You can upgrade to Fudget Pro. I am using the upgraded version. I think this app is about $3. I only have the upgraded version because the creator of the app actually emailed me back in October of 2017 and gifted me the Pro version. So otherwise I would probably use the free version. You can restore purchases. You can get Fudget for desktop, which I've been trying to get that for so long, which is why I'm having to do this video this way. But apparently you can get the Fudget for desktop if you enter in your email and whatever else. Currency symbol, so you can go in here, change your currency. I am using the dollar, of course, but they have pound, euro, yen, and all of this other stuff that I'm not familiar with. You can turn on or off the show date column, which I'll show you that in a minute. You can do that within the budgets screen as well. You can turn on or off the swipe to delete feature, turn on or off password lock. I assume you can turn on or off the touch ID login, but I don't know why. Please set a passcode first. Oh, I don't have a password, so therefore I can't do that. You can put in your email address, which I don't really know why that's an option because, I mean, you have to sign up using an email address, so I don't really know what you would need to change by going in there. You can change the theme. I actually prefer purple and black and white. Those are kind of my preferred colors, but I've been using blue for so long that I can't imagine not using it. You can get help, so you can look at tutorials, FAQs, you can email Danny. You can tell a friend about Fudget, you can write a review, and you can click on more apps by Danny, which I didn't know that was going to take us there. And then you can join the Fudget newsletter if you want by entering in your name and email. This is the Fudget version 1.7.7. and it says Danny Connell 2018. So coming out of there, you can pop right back into the budget screen. Now here you have options, so you can save data to Dropbox or you can restore data from Dropbox. I don't really bother with any of that, although I do have a Dropbox. So let me share with you guys how I use this, and I'm also going to share with you guys how you could use it. Okay, so going into, you can do as many budgets as you want. You can do however many budgets you want. Tons of budgets. You can have a budget for a trip, you can have a budget for the month, a budget for the week, a budget for whatever it is that you want to do. I'm going to go ahead and delete those, and while I am deleting those, I'm going to show you the feature. So you can export this budget, you can rename it, and you can delete it. And of course there's the add budget button. So that is pretty much what you can do there. Options. Oh, we already did that. So what I'm going to do now is share with you guys how I use it and then share with you guys how you could use it. So this is how I use the Fudget app. So here I have all of our expenses that have taken place thus far, and I have all of the income that we have brought in thus far. All income is in green, all expenses are in red, and I just have a long list of our income and expenses up until today, right now, which is what's today? May the 14th, Monday, May the 14th. So you can go in here to options and you can do a chart. You can export the budget. You can save data to Dropbox, restore data from Dropbox. You can show the date column, and you can undo delete if you accidentally delete something. I'm going to show date column just so it's easier for everybody. So just clicking on that popped up the date. So this now says May 14th, and you can click on it and change the date to whatever you want to change it to. So I like to keep my dates over here, but you could totally do away with the dates, but I like to keep it on here, and I'll show you why. So I have the dates of every transaction that we've had thus far. So we're on, again, May the 14th, and I have all of the expenses that have taken place. Now, the reason why I use this way is kind of like a budget in real time, and it lets us know how much money we have available to us at all times. So if you just come down here to the bottom, first of all, you can add income. So if you do that, it's going to be in green. You add whatever, you can title it whatever you want, the amount and the date. And then you can add expense. So it's going to pop up in red, and you can do that. Down here at the bottom, we have income. So that's all of the money that we have brought in so far this month. We're halfway through the month, which means that this makes sense because we budgeted $5,000 for this month. I've explained this before to you guys. I don't know who's going to be watching this, but my subscribers all know we are working off of a lower income, but even with our low income it's plenty to sustain our cost of living because we live in a low cost of living area. But it is a lower income. But just to kind of connect the dots for you guys, we budgeted $5,000 for this month, and as you can see, we're halfway there, so it makes perfect sense. So it shows you your income, and then you can tap on expenses. So we have spent so far $2,275.42. That is on lots of travel stuff. We're going to Mexico next week. Lots of gifts, Mother's Day and this and that, lots of bills, rent, all of that good stuff. That is how much we've spent as of May the 14th. So here is our balance. This tells us how much money we actually have available to us. So we do not include our cushion or our buffer that's in our checking account. And we do not include any of our savings accounts or anything like that. This is only the disposable money that we have. So we have $215 to last us until we get paid again, because we're not going to pull from any other account unless we absolutely need to. We don't have but a couple of bills due. We get paid tomorrow, I believe. And then again in like 6 or 7 days. No, like 6 days from tomorrow. So we don't need to, this is plenty enough for us, and just tells us at all times how much money we have. So at $215.41, we can't really do much aside from the bare minimum. We can't go buy something that's unbudgeted for a $300 TV. We don't have $300 to spend. We do have $300, but we're not touching that money because that would defeat the purpose of having a savings account or really just doing a budget and living within our means. So in our minds, which is actually quite true depending on how you look at it, we have $215. $215 is what we have right now. Again, it doesn't include any of our other accounts, but we don't want to go into any of those accounts for, something silly, because at that point we'd be going over budget and living above our means. We like to try to live off of, well, you can't see it there, but we're trying to live off of the $5,000, which, like I said, that's plenty. We'll have plenty of money left over at the end of the month, assuming, everything goes as planned, assuming we stick to the budget or fairly stick to the budget. So if you click that, you see paid. Our paid and our expenses are the exact amount because you can slide this and check things as paid. So if I didn't check it as paid, that number would change. It would subtract the $10. If I mark it as paid, the $10 will go back. Another thing that you can do is you can pop up your calculator. So what's cool though, I'll do it actually. I will do it. What's cool is that the 10, okay, so I swiped the calculator on the $10 gas. So here's the calculator. Let's say I wanted to add $5. Let's say the math was rigorous instead of, is that the right word? Yeah, difficult. Rigorous means difficult, right? Let's say the math was difficult and I couldn't actually do the math very easily, but this math I am going to be able to do. But let's say it was very difficult. That is when this calculator would come in handy. Oh, I'm sorry. That is when the calculator would come in handy. So let's say I just wanted to add $5 to that. Like I said, we're not going to pretend that the math is difficult because it's not. So we're going to do 10 plus 5 equals 15, and if you check this, it will change the amount to 15. I'm going to show you guys that, but you can also delete it. So there's delete. So there's a 15. If you click the check arrow, it's going to change that amount to 15. So that is what just took place. But I'm just going to go back in here and change it to 10 because my husband got $10 worth of gas. Another thing that you can do is you can star and you can delete, and I'll show you that momentarily. So this is how we use this in real time. If I'm at the gas station, if my husband texts me if he spends money, if a bill comes out, whatever the case, when the bill clears our account, I go ahead and add it in. I press paid because pressing paid tells me my balance. If I didn't press paid, it wouldn't be an accurate amount, obviously. So I swipe paid and then it'll tell me my balance at all times. So that is why I love that. I swear by this app, you guys. So that's pretty much all that you can do within, like, if you're going to use it the way that I use it. And so again, I just like to, it's kind of like a running list. I don't know if it's called a check register. Not a check register. Is that what it's called? I think it's like a check register. A check log, whatever. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's kind of like a running one of those. So it always tells you a check balance. Anyway, it always tells you how much money you have available whenever you use it the way that I do. So another thing that I could do, let's say, I'm sorry. For example, our electric bill is going to be $91.92 for this month. And it's going to be due on the 17th. I could actually add that in there and I could say, oh, well, because that bill is going to come out, we have to account for that. So technically right now we have $123.49. Like, that's the amount of money that we have that's disposable. We can't spend more than what we have. If we wanted to buy, again, something for $200, we wouldn't be able to do that because then we wouldn't be able to pay our electric bill, if you get what I'm saying. So that is another way that you can use that, just to put in your projected amount, and then when the electric clears, you can just press paid, and then, you know, your amount will stay the same, obviously. I mean, it won't, I mean, the balance will stay the same, but the paid is what changes. The balance will stay the same, but again, it just lets you know how much money you have at all times. So that is how I use this app, but you could totally use it in a different way. So let's go ahead and delete that. That's accurate. That's our real electric bill amount and our real due date, but we don't need that in there. The reason why I don't need that in there is because we'll get paid before our next bill is due, so then I'll have to kind of like come in and put the income and whatever, so we don't need to do that right now. So going out of this, I already have our June monthly budget in here, but let me show you what's super cool. So let's say I wanted to carry everything over from May to June, which I totally did. You could just come in here, and if you take the date column off here, you're in any of these budgets or any place in this app, you're taking it off everywhere. So if I take it off, it'll temporarily remove it from this, as you can see. But let me show you something that's really cool. So I added our May's budget in here. And something that is really, really neat is if you want to carry over things from one month to the next, you can totally do it. So you can just star whatever it is that you want to carry over. So I've starred all of those things. Those are kind of like some of our bills, our real bills. You can come here and let's say you want to set up June. I already set up June's budget, but I just want to show you guys this feature before we go into that. You can set up the budget, and as soon as you go in, it's going to say or ask you, do you want to add the starred items? And you say yes. And then all of the starred items will come here. So I find that to be super cool. So the way that you can use this budget in its entirety is, let's delete, one of those needs to be deleted. We'll delete that one. Is putting in your whole May budget as well. So you can add in everything. So this is not accurate because I was messing around with it for purposes of this video, but for the month of May we budgeted $5,000, not $50,000 unfortunately, and I think the savings, yeah, this is right, our savings, our projected savings is supposed to be $845.73. So let me just show you this before the camera cuts off because we have 5 minutes. So you can add in your May monthly budget. So I have all of our bills and fixed expenses just like in my budget planner. If you haven't checked that out, go check that out, and I think this will make a little bit more sense. And then you can add in, I have added in all of our variable expenses as well. So our budget is here. This is our exact budget, like our real life budget for May. So down here we have income at $5,000. We have expenses at $5,000 because we do an every dollar budget. So our income and our expenses are the equivalent, which means that our balance is zero and we've paid zero because I haven't marked anything as paid. But if you wanted to use this as like, you know, a real budget, anytime a bill is paid, you can just mark it and it'll let you know what's been paid. But you can do your monthly budget here and not really mess with this too much. Maybe you change a few things. Like, for example, you can have more than one line item for income. You can have, you know, an income for yourself, an income line for yourself, an income line for your husband, for rollover, for sinking funds transfer, for savings account transfers, whatever it is that you want. But you can have your whole budget here, and you can use this for your budget, like your monthly budget, and you can also do this just so you have a running total. So right here is where you would track your everyday, day-to-day, weekly expenses, if that makes sense. So that's something that you can do. I think that that is super cool. Let me show you just one other thing before the camera cuts off. Here, let's go into the May monthly, the one that we just did. Again, you can add the dates back if you want to, but I just have it off so it looks a little better for the camera. Right here, it tells you your chart. So for example, rent and water at $5,000, our rent and water, which is our housing, is at 11.40% of our monthly income. Just FYI, your housing, which would include your rent, renter's insurance, you know, we don't pay renter insurance monthly, we pay it all in one time a year. That would include your rent insurance, that would include your mortgage insurance or homeowner's insurance, your HOA fees, information about our cruise. That would include all of those things. It's only supposed to be about 25 to like 35, is really pushing it, 25 to 35% of your income at the current rate right now. Our rent and water is 11% of our income, and that's with low income right now. So whenever we are back to like our regular income, our rent and water or our housing is probably only going to be like, I don't know, like 5-6% of our income. Again, we live relatively cheaply, frugally, if that's a word. So anyway, that's just a little tip that I'm throwing out there, but it has a little pie chart, so it shows you everything, and you can just click on things and they pop up. See, purple is rent and water, $570. It shows you everything right here, and it's all color coded. So it does show you everything that you need to know about your different categories. And I think that this is really cool because, you know, I think it's really cool that this is offered, but you get to see, you know, what category is which and where you're at. And there's like a budget categories whole thing online somewhere that you can find, just like, you know, ideal budget categories. But this is really cool. It's a pie chart. And then down here it says group smaller items into other. I don't really know what that means, but there it is. Another thing, last thing before the camera shuts off. Another thing that's super cool aside from that little pie chart is if you actually categorize your expenses here the way that they are categorized in your overall budget, then you'll be able to know, you know, day by day where you're at. So for example, sunglasses, I have this written down as sunglasses. I have the line item entitled sunglasses. This is actually probably would go under, I'd say it would either go under my allowance, or let's just put it under miscellaneous. You can come here, if you categorize everything correctly, you can go to your chart and you can see what miscellaneous expenses you have. Now, I only have one miscellaneous expense so far. We only have one miscellaneous expense, and that is for the sunglasses at $863, and that is 0.38% of our income, at our current incomes, because again, this shares with you your current income if you do it the way that I do. So this is our current income, so that is 0.49 or whatever, 39% of that income, which is about $2,500. So just keep that in mind. So anyway, that's all that I have to share about this Fudget app. I really love it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one.